What is going on, guys? I hope you're all well. In today's video I'll be unboxing and setting up the Samsung Q90R 7.1.4 soundbar. I'll also do a sound test and give my early impressions of the soundbar, so please do stick around to see that. Timestamps are in the description. As always, let's begin. Taking a look at the box, let's go over all of the features you get with the Q90R. The box mentions that the soundbar is optimized for QLED TVs, and because I have an LG OLED, I can't really verify that claim. The soundbar works with the Amazon Assistant, and I'll show you how to set that up later in the video. Both Dolby Atmos and DTS:X are supported, so you'll get amazing sound when viewing supported content on streaming services like Netflix and Amazon Prime Video. SmartThings support is also provided, and you'll need the app in order to connect the soundbar to your Wi-Fi. You can also connect any Bluetooth enabled device to the soundbar and play music or audio via that option. Again, I'll show you how all of this works shortly.
On the way to being free.
Opening up the box, you're first greeted by the soundbar. It's a lot bigger than I anticipated, but perfect for my TV stand. The soundbar's industrial design is very unassuming. It has a very clean look with not much going on in terms of embellishments. There's a bit of text on the bottom left and some physical buttons in the middle. Apart from that and the hidden display at the front right, it's very sleek and won't stand out too much. Moving on to the rest of the unboxing, underneath the soundbar is the box of accessories. First up is the user manual. I did have to consult this a fair few times and the instructions were very clear, so definitely keep it handy. Then we have two power cables, one for the soundbar itself and the other for the subwoofer. The cables are the same for both, so don't worry about mixing them up. Next up is the remote. It has a very nice matte black finish, which is what I imagine most people prefer. The remote is very slim with a slight curve to allow for a more natural fit in your hand. I'll go over what each button on the remote does after the unboxing. Two AA batteries are also provided. The two brackets to wall mount the soundbar. I have a big enough media unit, so I won't be doing that. These look like the accessories to aid with the wall mounting. Next up we have the left and right surround speakers, tweeters or whatever you want to call them, the power cables for the speakers. Taking a closer look at the speaker, it has a nice semi-matte metallic finish, I want to say. Even though I have gloves on, it's still attracting a fair few marks. At the bottom we have the connector for power. At the back you can see a hole to secure the speaker to a stand, a label indicating where you should place the speaker. There's also an ID set button and LED status indicators, which I'll touch on later. And finally we have the Big Daddy itself. The finish on the subwoofer appears to be slightly different to the left and right surround speakers in that it doesn't attract nearly as many marks or fingerprints. The power connector is on the left, as well as the ID set button and LED status indicators. I began the setup by connecting a HDMI 2.1 cable to the HDMI to eARC port on my TV. The soundbar doesn't come with this cable, so you'll need to use your own. I bought a 2-meter one off Amazon for £15 or $20. Next, I turned the soundbar on its side to expose the bottom. I first connected the power cable. You'll have to push on this with a fair bit of pressure so it's fully inserted. The HDMI cable will need to be connected to the HDMI out TV ARC port, and that's it for the soundbar. If you don't have an eARC port on your TV, you can use optical. The other HDMI ports are for other devices you want to connect to the soundbar, which I won't be doing. Don't turn on the soundbar at this point. I placed the subwoofer at the front of the room in the right corner facing outwards. You can turn it on immediately and the link LED indicator on the right will start blinking. I placed the left and right surround speakers at the back of the room behind the sofa at a slight angle, as recommended in the documentation. I powered on both and was glad to see the link LED flashing. And last but not least, I plugged in the soundbar and the automatic connection worked without a hitch. I did have to switch the location of the surround speakers, which meant I had to power them off. This resulted in one of the speakers losing the automatic connection. To resolve this, I had to turn off power to the subwoofer and both of the surround speakers. I then turned them on and held down the ID set button for about 5 seconds on each speaker until the blue light started flashing rapidly. The last step is to hold the up button on the remote for 5 seconds until you see ID set appear on the soundbar display. Check the back of the surround speakers, and on the left side of the subwoofer to make sure the link light is a constant blue. This will indicate a successful connection. Your TV may show a pop-up asking whether you want to automatically change sound output to the soundbar. I missed this pop-up as I was occupied at the time and I had to manually change it. Go into your TV's sound settings and choose the HDMI ARC output option and you're ready to use your soundbar. Taking a look at the buttons on the remote, we of course have the power button at the top. Going down the left side of the remote, we have the source button, which allows you to cycle through the other sources, including devices connected to the HDMI ports on the soundbar, Wi-Fi sources, and Bluetooth sources. Below that is the mute button, followed by the sound mode button, which lets you choose between standard, surround, game pro, and adaptive sound. The settings cog is for sound control, and this allows you to control the treble, bass, change the audio sync if it's off, and adjust the volume of the speakers. On the top right you have the Bluetooth pair button. Press this once to put the soundbar into Bluetooth pairing mode. I'll show the Bluetooth connectivity later in the video, so stay tuned. The play pause button and the direction wheel can only really be used when you've paired a device via Bluetooth or if you're manually connecting the subwoofer and surround speakers to the soundbar. Again, I'll show how this works after I show you how you connect the soundbar to your Wi-Fi. One thing I noticed when using the remote was that you need line of sight with the soundbar display when pressing any button on the remote. In the footage you're seeing, I'm messing about with the remote controls to change the music track. You can see when I put something in front of the display, it doesn't register the button presses. People generally don't have anything in front of the soundbar, but I thought I'd point it out anyway in case this may be a problem for prospective buyers. In order to connect your soundbar to Wi-Fi, you'll need to install the SmartThings app if you haven't done so already. Once you open the app, it should immediately detect the soundbar. If it doesn't, move your phone a little closer. Create a location and room if you're using the app for the first time. Hit next and sign into your Samsung account. I had an existing one from owning a Samsung phone in the past, so I used that. It'll take a few seconds to connect to your phone. Press the volume down button on the soundbar a few times and on the next screen connect to your Wi-Fi. Wait for the app to register the soundbar against your Samsung account and finally set the name. I kept the name short and sweet as it'll be easier to call the device by name when you're using it with the Amazon Assistant. Because SmartThings is a Samsung entity, you have quite a few options when it comes to adding automations. Hit the plus button in the top right, then automation. For the first automation, I want to turn on the soundbar at 10:30 AM, so I set the if condition to that. For the then action, I want to control the device, choosing the soundbar from the list. In the options, I set the soundbar to turn on at 20% volume. You can also add an action delay and you can have it turn off automatically. For the next automation, I selected the device status option for the if condition, setting it to check for when the soundbar is turned on. For the then action, I selected the notify someone option and I want it to send me a message when the soundbar is turned on. These are just examples of the automations you can add, as useless as they may be. Connecting to the soundbar via Bluetooth is as simple as you'd expect. Hit the Bluetooth pair button on the remote once and the display on the soundbar will change to read BT pairing. Turn on your Bluetooth on your phone and if the soundbar doesn't appear, a scan should fix this. Click on Samsung Q90R and it should connect without an issue. Next up are a couple of demos showing how well the Bluetooth connectivity works. One is from close up and the other is from about 3 meters away. You could see from the demo that there was a slight delay when changing tracks. I've checked online, and from what I've gathered, the soundbar is using Bluetooth version 4, which may explain the lag seen when playing content via my phone. I tested from a little further away and the lag problem wasn't exacerbated by the increased distance, so I'm going to posit that the problem is with the Bluetooth version.
Waiting for you.
All in all, this is not a major issue as I can quite easily cast music via my Chromecast and have the audio broadcast through the soundbar. One problem I encountered with the Bluetooth connectivity was that the TV would not reconnect to the soundbar automatically after disconnecting my phone. Easy enough to fix by changing the source, but it would have been super convenient for this to happen without user intervention. To use the Q90R with the Amazon Assistant, go to the Devices menu, hit the plus button on the top right and scroll down to Speaker and then choose Samsung. This will prompt you to enable the Samsung wireless audio skill. You should have a Samsung account at this point, so log in and hit Allow. Hit Agree and enter the 2FA code if you have it set up. Once the skill has been enabled, press Discover Devices and at the end of your search, your Q90R will be automatically connected. Since I had a couple of groups set up in the Amazon Assistant, I went ahead and added the soundbar to my living room TV group. You can now incorporate the soundbar in your routines. Here I'm turning on the soundbar in my Netflix time routine. This is a little redundant as the soundbar turns on with the TV, but it's useful if you want the soundbar off in certain scenarios or if it doesn't turn on with the TV for whatever reason.
Netflix time.
I hope you stuck around to this part of the video as I've tried my best to capture a decent representation of what the audio sounds like to me. It won't be the same of course, but it should give you somewhat of an idea.
The new way to experience sound. Unlike stereo, which is limited to 2 audio channels, Dolby Atmos can manipulate individual sounds in 3D space to position sounds all around you. Sounds can move above you, far away, or right up close. Let's compare. This is stereo, and this is Dolby Atmos. Dolby Atmos can build worlds of sound to tell any story. It catches all the little details, puts you in the center of the action. It sounds just like the real world. And transports you to faraway lands. Go inside the story with breakthrough sound. Dolby Atmos.
Here is some music.
You're not as clever as you think you are. You try to run, but you won't get that far. I'm right behind you like we're racing, like a chasing. All your endeavors end with no regret. You play it cool while you try to forget. But it's right behind you like it's racing, like it's chasing.
And that is it for my Q90R unboxing, setup and first impressions video. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, a like would help out a small channel like mine massively. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to watch, and I thank you for watching till the end. If you're still here, consider subscribing for more techie content like this. I will be doing a follow-up review of the soundbar after I've had it for a while, so please comment below with things you'd like to see in the full review and I'll try to include them. Thanks again for watching, I'll see you soon.